much watched you just tear off what you might consider your clothing. You have much of the just taking off the clothing till now you are much in your underwear as you would consider. We would now invite you just to take off the last pieces of clothing to be exactly who you are in the soul aspect. This analogy of being in the being much in the embarrassment of the nothingness. This is what it is much like as you journey through this life. The soul aspect is you with not the clothes on, with nothing on, just the you there, just being absolutely free to be a much of the you-ness. There is much of a freedom in this, as you understand. This is why you much like this aspect from time to time to be in this space. We would ask that this is the focus for you, just to take off the much of the clothing. You don't need to much wear this. And right now, the much of the importance is to be expressing of the truth, the being of the expressing of the universal truth, but much more importantly, you're of the truth, because your truth is...
Welcome to Galactic Guidance, the show that channels the wisdom of beings from higher realms. Join us as we tap into the cosmic consciousness and receive messages of clear guidance to help us navigate our spiritual evolution on planet Earth. So sit back, relax, and let's connect into the higher frequency. Hello everybody, this is Galactic Guidance and we're so excited. This is Eleni and Marcus. For those of you who may have not seen previous episode, Marcus channels a higher dimensional being called Ahmed, and Ahmed comes in with some incredible wisdom that we can all benefit from. And I never know exactly what Ahmed's going to say. Well, I don't even know generally what Ahmed's going to say, let alone exactly. Today, Marcus is in a caravan, not in his usual location.
Traveling, let's call it that. Traveling around.
He's a bit of a traveler wanderer today.
That's it. That's what I'm doing. It's all good.
And what we do is Marcus goes into a trance state and brings in the beautiful higher dimensional being called Ahmed. And so go for it, Marcus. Do your thing.
Excellent. Thank you. That's great. Great to be here.
Glad to have you.
It is much of the welcoming to be here in this space with you yet once again in this moment. We are much of the excitement, much of the joy for these opportunities to be in the speaking with you, to be in this moment, this connection, to be here together and share in the universal wisdom and the knowledge and experience to assist in your expansion, assist in your journey into the next evolution of dimensional reality.
Beautiful. Welcome, Ahmed. Thank you so much for once again coming into the space. And I can honestly say that I have missed you this last week, not seeing you and not speaking to you. Well, not I don't see you ever, but I feel your energy and I listen to your beautiful words. So I have missed that interaction. So I'm so happy that you're here today. I'd like you to tell us, Ahmed, what you think we need to know with the people listening to this show, whether they're listening to it right now or they're listening to it at some point in the future. What is it that they need to hear right now?
This is much of the expansion conversation, and we understand your desire to wonder what it is that is of the most of the importance. And there's many aspects that we need you to understand, that we wish for you to fully of the embodiness within within the completeness of who you are. One thing you must understand, that you are currently on a journey of the expansiveness, to step into the fullness of who you are. And many of you just think about this out of much of the earthly construct, to step into who you fully are. This has been a message for many of the years of your existence, but we have the deeper version of this experience. This stepping into who you are is more an expansion into the cosmic conscious state of the reality of your journey through multidimensional time and space. You must remember that this is not just one of the and the only aspect of your materialization and of the existences. This is just one of the theme parks that you have been through the journeying of. There are many of these theme parks that you have decided to journey through and to experience. In these theme parks, you grow into the expansiveness of who you are. This is much like the journey of the children that you are materializing in and through you. They start as much of the preparatory of the schooling, and then move through into the middle of the schooling, and then through the senior of the schooling experience. This is not dissimilar to the journey that you have chosen to be on. Not that your soul has been a new being, but that your experience is of one of the remembering. The expansive journey is one of much of the rememberingness. And you have chosen to journey into these states of being so that we can together grow and expand the universal conscious construct. You must understand that this construct is a frequency construct of existence, and each time the consciousness being experiences these theme parks, these moments of learning and expansive of awareness, the universe is able to be in the growth, in the expansion phase itself. Much of what is out there is within you, and what is within you is also with the out there-ness. And therefore you follow the same trajectory as the universal construct is following. You think you're just playing in the human experienceness of this journey, but really you are just part of the universe, experiencing the expansive nature of this journey that we are all in the onness in. And so we wish for you to understand that this is one such journey, that you are here in the boot camp of experience to learn and to grow in expansiveness more into who you are. This is an expansiveness out in all directions into who you are. The best way we can assist you to do this is to remember that being in the stable state will assist you in this expansiveness. As you journey through the multidimensional reality of the universe, there are things that you have been in the holding on of that you must be in the letting go of now. There are a number of the constructs that you cannot continue to take with you if you are going to expand into the next reality of existence. And in this timing, many of you have decided not to be part of this expansiveness and to journey through and into the next reality. For those of you that are here and in this, listening to this message, we wish for you to understand that stability is the key focus point for you to be able to expand. Once you are in the stable state, you can then expand your awareness, your consciousness of what the truth of reality actually is for you in your construct. When you step into this, you can then begin to bend and to move some of some of the construct that you have held on to very much, some of the tightliness. Some of these constructs are things like the aspect of hierarchical levels of existence. This is not the construct that is of a higher dimensional awareness. This is of much in the construct that you have created in this of the theme park. You must begin to move through this and expand into the spherical nature of who you are, and that there is not such a construct as the higher dimensions or the lower dimensions as you might understand it. This is much of your duality earthly experience. The actual reality is it's much more an expansive nature into who it is that you actually are experiencing. So you begin to move out in every direction, not just up in the direction or down in the direction, but expanded into the direction. As you do this, you can see back into other dimensions of reality, those existences that you once were at. But in this construct, in this moment, is much of the hardness to see out into the other dimensions of reality until you allow your mental construct to break free, until you begin to live in the dreamscape into the dayscape. You will not be able to experience this. This is part of the restrictive nature that you must break through to step into the next dimension of the reality. Letting go of the construct of the hierarchy nature, letting go of the construct of the day and the nighttime experience. There are many of these duality experiences that must now be moved through, be allowed to express itself.
Thank you. So, you've talked about a couple of things there. And the first thing that I'd like to ask you about is when we step into who we really are, how much of our personality is who we really are? How
This
much
is
of our personality is who we really are,
mm.
or how much is the ego?
There's both much of the interesting concepts because, from a universal perspective, you are neither of these constructs. You are not the ego nature of you. You're not the personality construct. This is just your what you might understand as your uniform or your armor for the journey through this life of the experience. Much of these constructs are gifted to you as you journey into this life construct. This is not something that you will take with you and not something that you brought in with you. Many of these constructs are gifted to you as you expand into the human formness. But there are aspects that you may wish to refer to as the personality that will carry through from one aspect to the another, from one dimension to the another. This is much more the soul aspect of your experience, that deeper version of you that you sometimes be in the connection with when you're in the middle of the forest, for example, when you are in the quietness, for example, when you're in the void aspect of reality, for example. Sometimes you then connect into this deeper soul aspect of you. This soul aspect of you will be on the traveling journey with you. But the much of the personality, much of the ego that you speak of is not a transient, does not necessarily come with you from one aspect to the next aspect. But there is a soul aspect of you that will transition, that does journey with you from one aspect to another. This is why, from a what you would consider a life experience, like the past life experience, how in one life you can be much of the not the very nice of the person, and another life you could be much of the saint of a person, and then you come into this life and you will be the version of yourself in this life. But these are constructs of the personality, constructs of the ego. These are not the soul contracts of a dimensional being. The part of you that is a member of the universal family of light, the part of you that is much more a brother and a sister to our species. That aspect of you will much of the travel through these moments of theme park experience. For this is not the reality of the universe. This is much of the unreal world that you are living in, that you are experiencing. This is just a stopover on the journey through the universe, much like when you travel around the planet and you go from one place to the other. These are the theme parks that you experience. You might journey into one of the Disneyland experiences, and then into another country of the Disneyland experience, and then into another country. These are much like the life experiences that you are having. These are choices that you have been in the making, and collectively these assist the universe to expand. If you imagine that all of these experiences are frequency related, then you will see that the connected collective journey that we are all in the onness in is a frequency expansive experience, and these stopovers, these what you might consider layovers of experience are ways to assist in the universe expanding out in every direction, growing in related consciousness to the rest of the universe.
Hmm. So, what you're saying is that the personality really is just of this lifetime, but does our soul have an imprint somewhat of our personality, and therefore, you know, in between lives, don't we have like unique kind of, isn't our energy unique to us so that there are elements of it that is uniquely us?
This is much of the truthness in some respects. What you must understand is that your soul aspect has a frequency to it. It has a what you might consider a station to it, like in the radio aspect. It has a frequency to it. It then has the ability to tune in to every other frequency. So if you think of the construct of your personality, you could think of that as a frequency of personality. The soul aspect has the ability to connect into every frequency that it chooses. When it comes into this life experience based on the input, based on the influence, based on the physical construct of the being, it will choose the personalities that it will reflect. Personalities then become a reflection of frequency, not necessarily a construct that is carried forth from one experience to the next. The soul frequency on the other aspect is the one frequency that will be carried with you through dimensional space and time. This is the uniqueness of the you that you are much desperately trying to understand and to find in this life aspect. The issue is that you've been given much of the frequencies from which to explore this much of the life journey. And therefore, what ends up much happening is that you go on a journey of the discovery. What you are really looking for in the discovery is this unique soul aspect frequency, not the personality frequencies, not the ego frequencies, but the soul aspect frequency. And what we find, and what the journey is mostly on the aboutness is the journey is here for you to come back to that frequency, to be able to walk through this theme park real in harmonic resonance with that soul aspect frequency. One of the aspects that you forget when you come into this reality. The reason when there is a forgetfulness that comes in is so that you can anchor back into that frequency. There is a process of what you might look at as the forgetting and the remembering. This has a galactic echo effect throughout the universe of helping the universe to continue to grow in the conscious aspect, therefore expanding the universal frequency. Each aspect of the soul is one note in that beautiful of the frequency of the universe. You come into this life to be in the forgetfulness of this so that you can anchor back into the remembering of this. When this happens, you are able to express that frequency much more expansively, much more of the loudness if this was in the stereo type of a situation. This gives you a much grander expression throughout the universe when you forget, and then you are much of the remembering. This is the funness of the theme park. You walk into the theme park and you can't remember who you are and what you are doing coming into this theme park. Every now and then you pass one of those mirrors that sometimes look funny and sometimes look normal. These mirrors are a reflection of your what you would consider either the ego aspect or the aspects that you are speaking of. And you look in these mirrors, and one time you see someone who's much more different than you think you are. This is the forgetfulness that is appearing and happening. And then all of a sudden you might remember this whole aspect of who you are, remembering the depth of who you are. And in that remembering, you create an echo that goes throughout the universe, a frequency echo that assists in the universe to expand, to continue to move and expand and to grow itself which is the main of the themeness with this. One of the aspects you are much not of the understanding is just how powerful and profound the consciousness is. If you were understanding that, you would understand the dots that are appearing here, and you would be in the adjoining of those dots. When you join those dots, you would see a beautiful picture like you do when you are a child, drawing the dots, the ones and twos together, the threes and fours together to create an image. This is what is happening in your reality from a universal construct point of view. You are joining many of the dots. These dot joinings help in the expansive nature of the universe.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Hamid, for coming in today and helping us to see that what we really need to do is step into the greatness of who we are. And it feels very difficult to actually connect in with that greatness. You know, something I saw a glimmer of undertaking plant medicine, and it's very difficult to connect back into that vast greatness and the magnificence of who we are. But certainly a starting point is to center ourselves and to stay still, like you mentioned. So thank you very much for
Much of the
your
remembering,
help today.
much of the importance of this is what you let go of, not what you are trying to find. Too many are trying to find this space. It is not about a finding. It is about much of a being. So in that process, it's all that it is about is the letting go of the everything that you consider is the you-ness, to release yourself from anything that you framed up around the you-ness, that you're not who you are mostly of the thinking you are. You are not of the aspects that others are thinking of you are. They're not the aspects that your parent people have been giving you, that your other people, older people have been giving you. You are much more a deeper aspect of the universal reflection. You are much more a being of the light. The most important aspect of this is to release and let go of everything that you think you might have been, you think that you might be, and just allow yourself to be the fullness of who you are, to expand into that aspect of you, to share that frequency aspect of you. You have much of the magic to share. And this magic is much of the narrowness of the existence, the fullness of the existence, the bigness of the existence is full of other aspects of you. You must be in the letting go of that aspect and just come back to the center point of the oneness of the aspect that is the reason that you decided to be in this space, in this moment, right in this time. We have much watched your journey. We have much watched your journey from very much of the broadness aspect, from playing in the ego aspect, from playing much in the personality aspect. And we have much watched you just tear off what you might consider your clothing. You have much of the just taking off the clothing till now you are much in your underwear as you would consider. We would now invite you just to take off the last pieces of clothing to be exactly who you are in the soul aspect. This analogy of being in the much in the embarrassment of the nothingness. This is what it is much like as you journey through this life. The soul aspect is you with not the clothes on, with nothing on, just the you there, just being absolutely free to be a much of the you-ness. There is much of a freedom in this, as you understand. This is why you much like this aspect from time to time to be in this space. We would ask that this is the focus for you, just to take off the much of the clothing. You don't need to much wear this. And right now, the much of the importance is to be expressing of the truth, the being of the expressing of the universal truth, but much more importantly, you're of the truth, because your truth is connected to the universal muchness of the truth. This is very much the most important aspect for you to have focus on, is just releasing anything that is not that. And when on the journey to finding that, you just must take off much of the clothing, much of the personality, or much of the ego aspect. You just must be of the releasing this until you are connecting into nothingness. So there's nothing there except the rawness of the soul aspect of who you are, that one frequency that you're here to be in the sharingness of. And we are much joyful in the journey that you have been traveling on, Miss Eleni, much in the joyness, for you have been tearing this clothing off. And this is much difficultness. This is much of the embarrassment sometimes, because you create often the personality and create often the ego to be of the protectionness, to be of the safetyness, to be contained within the barriers of the construct that you have been brought into this existence in. But we're asking you now not to be contained any longer. There is not much time for being in the containment. There is much more of the truth that must be in the releasingness, for you know this information. You know everything that we are talking about because you are part of this universal construct. All of the information that you are seeking and that you are requiring is existing in the DNA aspect of you that is spawned from the soul aspect of who you are. There is a relationship between the DNA aspect, the sacred geometry aspect, and the soul aspect of who you are. These three concepts work together to be in the manifestation, materialization of your existence in this theme park construct.
Okay, so it's time to rip the underwear off.
Much.
And
Yeah.
I will do my best.
We understand this construct is much of the funniness, but what you don't understand is that we are with you in every aspect of this experience. We are here with you, and we understand the embarrassment of the fullness of the soul aspect of who you are, much like if you were actually to remove the clothing that we speak of. There is a form of the conscious embarrassment almost that you are stepping into this space. Many will not like that you are stepping into this space only by the fact that they have difficulty stepping into this space. But the more of you that are in this process, the more we'll have the courage to follow and be in this process with you. Then much will change in this construct. Much will change for you as a species to step into the universal family of light, and for us to once again be with you and assist in this continued evolutionary construct.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, once again, for coming into this space and giving us these words.
Much love is and much joy. There's much of us that are observing this process and are here to support and assist in the expansive nature of this process. Much love, much joy, much blessings. Oh, howdy.
Hey.
Hey. Whew.
Okay. So Mead's telling me that I must remove my underwear.
Oh dear. Oh dear. We have taken a turn in these conversations, haven't we?
But
Uh,
the analogy is such a good one. It's such a
mm,
good one.
yeah,
Like, it's exactly how it feels, because that's exactly how it felt when I was having in the plant medicine ceremonies. It felt like
right.
I was wearing this really heavy,
Yeah,
really quite disgusting outfit, like
okay.
really heavy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
breathing, and I had to just take it off and breathe.
okay. Wow.
And that's why one of the very, very first things that I did was go and remove my shellac nails that I've had,
Ah, yeah,
for the last 14 years,
yeah, yeah.
because it was like disgusting to me. Like, I looked at them when I was in ceremony and I actually felt disgusted and sick to my stomach
Mm,
looking at my hands because it felt
right.
so fake.
Okay.
And it's like I can't breathe with all this fakeness. And yet I
Mm,
never saw it like that before, but that's
no.
the way that I see it now.
Mm,
And what he's saying is, and I have been stripping everything off,
mm.
you got to
You
get to
have.
the underwear. So what? So
Yeah.
what's your opinion about what that means in terms of underwear?
I I think it's an interesting metaphor that you're referring to in that, coming down to the bareness of who you are, that real, without any construct around you. One of the things that I think, and Ahmed said to me a lot, is that we're trying to come back to the truth. Now, not the truth that we think of, the difference between what's true and not true and what's a lie, but actually a universal version of truth. And that version is just raw, and it's just the rawness. And this construct that we're in, is not real. There's a non-truth part about it that we need to just release to some degree. And it's not that we need to run around naked or anything, but it's
No.
it's releasing that personality of who I feel I need to be to either fit in or not bump the apple cart or upset the apple cart, and just be really raw, and
Mm.
that takes a bit of work, because I think we get it from time to time. You may have experienced in plant medicine, we get it in certain meditations and things like that. But to be able to live that more consciously and consistently is what we're trying to do. Now, to do that, we have to release the untruth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who am I as Marcus, right? Right now, today, I've been the channel, but that's not who I am. Tomorrow I'm
Mm.
the teacher, the next day I'm a coach. I'm whoever I am, but it's not who I am. It's who I'm choosing to be as I go around this crazy theme park. What is the soul frequency of who I am? What is that
Mm.
beautiful resonance of who I am? Now, when you find it, magic happens. So I did a bit of healing work the other day, and my beautiful wife gave me a essence, a rainbow essence she made up of homeopathics and essences. And one of the things I find when you are fully naked, as in you're just your energy, the frequency, random people come up to you and talk to you. So I took this essence before I went
Mm.
into this shopping center. I'm wandering around the shopping center.
Mm.
Every time I stopped for a minute, someone would randomly come up and talk to me.
Mm.
Someone on the
Yeah.
escalator started talking to me. I was just standing there on my phone, and someone stood next to me and started talking to me. And I'm like, okay. And they're not talking about terribly random things. They're talking about life stuff. And I don't know who these
Mm.
people are. I never invited the conversation necessarily, but people feel a resonance in someone, and then that triggers a resonance in them to want to go deep. So then they open up and just start randomly talking to strangers about stuff, and they wouldn't even recognize why. Now, I'm not saying I was fully naked then, but there are moments when you get to the closeness of your sort of true essence or your true frequency. When that
Mm.
happens, people are just drawn to you. Stuff's drawn to you. Things just do amazing, amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. When I go for walks,
Yeah,
um, quite often when I go for walks, it's just so beautiful that I might look at the sky, and this happens a lot, and I just have tears streaming down my eyes.
yeah, yeah,
And when I'm in that space, what I find is that not everybody, but some people along that walk will just give me the most beautiful smile.
yeah.
Like it's
They
a
will.
really radiant, beautiful, loving smile. And it's like, oh, they see me, they feel
Yeah,
me, I see
totally.
them.
Totally, totally.
Mm.
I reckon the best line in any movie was in Avatar when they greet each other and sort of that I see you, but not I see you visually. I see your frequency. I see your
Mm.
vibration, and I think that's a really beautiful way to meet people, and I think that's the reflection when you are at that frequency or as close as possible, right? People
Yeah.
see it and they gravitate towards it, or they give a big smile, or they have a reaction to it. And the reaction is that it triggers their frequency. So all of a sudden, that big smile
Mm-hmm.
is not just a smile at you because they think you're amazing, right? It's a smile because your frequency triggered their frequency, and they just felt it and went, oh my God, I can now feel that.
Yeah.
This is why people randomly then open up, because it's almost like they have permission to, and the frequency just, do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of an
Yeah.
interesting thing that
They've been
happens.
activated.
They've been
They've been
activated.
activated.
That's exactly
And
right.
that's what our job is. It's like by being ourselves,
Yeah,
by being who we really are, we
that
activate
frequency.
the
Yeah,
that frequency and
We
those people
activate
around
everybody
us.
else totally, all the time. It's just stabilizing into that frequency. That's the trick, because so many things are designed to knock us out of that.
Yeah.
That's the
And
sort
I
of
think
issue.
that absolutely. And then what our job is to observe ourselves getting knocked out.
Totally,
Whereas
totally.
previously we were unconscious to
We
getting
were
knocked out.
correct,
And so because
correct.
that was our state of being, that was our default state of being.
Totally,
And so we didn't even
totally.
realize that we were knocked out. But now that we're
No,
actually in this other space as well, which we can call the 4D space for people to understand,
yeah,
this loving, compassionate space, without judgment,
yeah,
then when we are finding ourselves judge others or say something that is not of the highest good for someone else or for ourselves,
yeah, yeah,
then we can observe ourselves doing that. And by
yeah.
observing ourselves doing that, we've moved to the next stage because we're always
Totally,
observing. We're always
totally,
observing. And then
totally.
it will start to dissolve
Well, then
because
you
you
get a
just don't want to do
choice.
that anymore. You don't want to talk about other people. You don't want to, you think about yourself all the time. You want to
No,
think,
no.
what is the highest good for all? That's what you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. So I think, yeah. And when you're aware, you can make a choice. You can put on the clothing. You can be anyone you want to be, or just be you, or whatever that is. Be that frequency. You get to choose, and then when you do that, everything sort of works out better when you're consciously choosing.
Absolutely.
When you're swept away
Absolutely.
automatically, yeah, that's not such a good thing.
So for those of you who, want to know how to be more aware, go back to our first episode, because our
Yeah,
first episode, Marcus actually brought in Ahmed to talk about awareness, and that's what
oh,
Ahmed talked about, for the entire episode. And so it's
yeah,
really valuable. Go back that first episode
yeah,
and have a look to see, what awareness is about, because
yeah,
that is
yeah.
key. Awareness is key. That's probably why it's the first episode, because it's so important.
Totally,
So
totally.
awesome. Another
Yeah,
incredible episode. So for those of
thank
you
you.
listening, what clothes are you wearing?
Yeah,
What clothes are you wearing that you need to start taking off? And I guess the question is, why are you doing it? So when I,
yeah,
decided, as an example, very superficial example, an example the same when I took the shellac off my nails, it was like, well, why am I wearing them? Why? Is
yeah,
it because I think other people will find me more attractive if I wear them? So is that who I really am? And then just slowly, slowly stripping away all the things that I used to do that was really about getting liked or somebody
yeah,
else liking me in a certain way. It wasn't about
yeah, yeah.
me. And so what's the intention behind? So we're not saying that if you've got nails that it's bad, because the
It's not
intention might
bad.
be just to have a
It's
bit
no
of
bad.
fun and because you like it and you
Totally.
enjoy it.
Keep doing it.
There's no bad, but just ask yourself the question,
Yeah,
why are you doing certain things? Why are you spending time with certain people? Why are you doing certain activities? And it's time to question yourself. And then
totally.
if the why is not for the highest good of all, it's time to let it go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you said, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do things you enjoy. Just look at the energy, the frequency that's behind that. What's it trying to do? And if it's taking you away from you, right, so not for the highest good, then that's maybe not as beneficial as it could be. And anything like you said as your example,
Absolutely.
if you're doing it to impress or change or fit in or be whatever to someone else, then it's probably not of the highest resonance for you, and it's probably taking you
But you
away
have
from
to
your
get
resonance.
real.
You have to get real.
You have
This
to
is the
get real
truth
because
thing
the
that
ego will
she
give
keeps
you
talking
other
about.
reasons.
Totally, totally. And this is the
You have to
truth
get real.
aspect,
Ask yourself the question.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Be
Yeah.
real, be truthful, yeah, yeah, just be real about it.
No BS.
No
Get
BS.
real.
Yeah,
Because
the
there's
next
stories we tell
dimensions.
ourselves as to why we do certain things.
There
Yeah,
is. We're very good at
exactly.
convincing
Awesome
ourselves.
conversation.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Looking forward to the next one.
Awesome conversation.
Always. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, every single week we have an incredible conversation happening with a high dimensional being, which really is a blessing. And for
Yeah.
those of you listening to this podcast, these episodes, you're already, for you to be listening, it means that you're already aware. So thank you
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
And you're already stepping up into a new dimension. So yeah, awesome.
That's
Thank you
great.
so much,
Yay.
Marcus. Thank you for
All
bringing
right.
in
Thank you.
Amit again.
And we'll see you real soon.
Big love.
Big love. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.